Hello and welcome to another edition of the TES Secondary Maths Resource of the Week with me, Craig Barton. Now, I'm not going to lie, this week's Resource of the Week is an absolute cracker. And I know I say that every week, and hopefully you agree with me that the resources we find out are absolute beauties, but just wait till you see this one. So the title, GCSE Maths 9-1 Revision Masters. Now, depending on when you're watching this particular video, the thought of GCSE may be miles away, but it's always kind of looming in the background, right? But this resource isn't just for GCSE revision. It isn't just for those last month or couple of weeks building up to the exam. This little beauty is for all year round, and the sooner you use it, the better. Now, I know I'm building this up too much, and there's often a danger, but I'm not worried there, because I don't think we're getting an anticlimax here. I think you're going to enjoy this one as much as I do. So what is it? It's 7 files, consisting of 1 Excel file and 6 Word documents. And perhaps the easiest thing is just to dive in with one of the Word documents first, and we'll talk through it. So let me open up the foundation first. So, we've got a single side of A4, we've got homework 1, and we've essentially got 10 questions. So straight away, you're thinking, okay, maybe I'll use this as a homework. That's great as a one-off, but not that special. But then when we go down here, you'll see you've got homework 2 here. And if we just flick back and forward, let's take question 2, for example. Question 2 is on simplifying algebraic expressions. Question 2 here, expanding a bracket and solving the subsequent equation. Question 2 here, solving equation again. Question 3 here, solving. Notice question 1 each time is always on rounding. So what you've got here is essentially you've got a set of homeworks, and there's flipping loads of these, which test 10 absolutely crucial skills for foundation. And indeed, if I open up the Excel file that comes with it, you'll see that this is a tracking document that lists the questions that were on there. So we saw there the simplifying and solving. We saw question 1 was always rounding. You've got 10 topics here that are absolutely fundamentals for foundation GCSE, and indeed higher. We'll talk about that in a second. And each week you can test them using one of these resources. Now, what do I always love, and what do people using TES always love about resources? And that's when the answers are provided. Unfortunately, look at this. Not only have we got the homeworks, we've got a full set of answers as well. And this isn't just for foundation, because the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed here that we also have a higher foundation set. And this time we have different topics. We've got probability, we've got volume, we've got a new spec GCSE, Venn diagrams, frequency trees, speed, distance, time, and so on. And if I just find these here, you'll see that we've got a different set of homework. So we've got a bit of standard form, probability, there's your Venn diagram, bit of old Pythagoras bombing around, there's your frequency tree. This time we've got 2 sides of A4, printing these back to back maybe. Nice little wordy multi-topic question there that my kids are flipping useless at. Nice bit of algebra in context. And again, loads of these that form a lovely little collection. And then finally, the last one I'll show you before I talk about how I use these is the higher, because the higher are great. And I should say, of course, there's answers with all of these. Let's just look at the higher topics on this tracking sheet. So we've got iteration, composite functions, quadratic sequences, Fibonacci, multiply, equation of a circle, truncated numbers. All the new spec stuff that students certainly struggle with, it's all here. Look, beautifully laid out. Iteration formula, nth term of quadratic sequences, expanding and simplifying when you've got cubes involved there, tricky Venn diagrams. And again, more, they just get repeated. Speed time graph. Again, nicely laid out so it'll fit on 2 sides of A4. And again, you'll be pleased to know, all accompanied with the answers. So, the big question on everybody's lips. How can we use these? Well, the obvious way is to use them as they are there, as homeworks, and they're absolutely brilliant for that. You've got a nice set, I think, of 6 or 7 homeworks that you can give out weekly or once a month or once a fortnight, whatever your homework policy is. And that's absolutely fine and a really, really useful way of doing them. But those of you who've listened to my podcast recently, or even on these Resource of the Weeks, will know I'm a little bit obsessed with what I call low-stakes quizzes. And low-stakes quizzes are a real popular thing at the moment. And I think these resources are absolutely perfect for them. So I actually set my students a low-stakes quiz every single lesson. And I used to think, oh, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford the time to find 10, 15 minutes to do that every single lesson. Now I think to myself, I can't afford not to. I've never seen something that's transformed the learning, retention, and even enjoyment of my students as much as when I'm setting these little low-stakes quizzes. They're taking 10 minutes, the kids are marking them themselves in class, but we're bubbling up those topics again and again and again. So students never go more than a week or at most 2 weeks without revisiting a topic. But I'm always on the lookout for questions that are really well laid out that I can take, and these are flipping perfect for it because they're covering the key skills. They're laid out in a really concise way, so it's not going to blow the photocopying budget. But perhaps best of all, they're in Word format. And that's brilliant because, all right, fine, here we've got 6, we've got 7 homeworks. But after that, I can just do a bit of copying and pasting, change a few numbers, edit it, and I've got 14 homeworks, 21 homeworks, and so on. Or I could decide, right, I really like question 9, so I'll grab a bit of question 9 from Higher and Foundation. But I also absolutely love, I'm trying to click on another one here. I absolutely love something from Foundation as well, so I love question 7. So I'll just build my own bespoke low-stakes quiz. So absolutely wonderful resource. As I say, personally, I'm not leaving these for revision. Those last kind of panicky last month or last few weeks, I'm building these in regularly. They are forming a key part of my low-stakes quiz policy that I've spoken about before in these resources of the week. And they can also be used for homework. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful resource. Do you know what? I think this year's GCSE, second run through the new spec, fingers crossed, I think it's going to go a bit smoother than the last one, thanks to wonderful resources like this. Anyway, hope that was useful, and I'll see you for a fresh resource of the week next week. Take care. Bye for now.